Welcome back, and today we will cover how a coffin can make your army hit harder than the interest on a payday loan. The Patreon is growing steadily, and it's looking highly likely that our monthly giveaway will be increasing to 3 combat patrols a month. £3 a month gets you automatically entered. We also post anywhere in the world at our expense, with recent giveaway winners having received their items in Japan, Germany, and of course the UK. The more we make, the more we will give away. The narrative campaign also continues, and anyone can get involved where their game results will affect the outcome. The Warhound will also be getting drawn soon. It's not too late to be in for a chance to win that, and the link is below. The Triumph itself is a unique model with a unique stat line. It boasts 18 hefty Strength 5 attacks, along with a high objective control value and of course wound count. It is however only toughness free, so still incredibly easy for an enemy to remove from the table. Luckily, you can attach the Triumph to a Battle Sister squad for some extra protection. Each turn, you pick 2 of its 6 abilities to be active. The main ones to be aware of are as follows. Petals of the Bloody Rose. This grants the lethal hits ability to any nearby unit, which of course helps spike combat lethality. The Simulacrum of the Argent Shroud. Much the same, except it grants all models in nearby units a bonus attack on any rapid fire weapons. And finally, the Simulacrum of the Ebon Chalice removes the 1 miracle dice per unit restriction, allowing you to go full Eldar on any enemy unit that comes into your crosshairs. The other buffs are important, such as the Feel No Pain, but we are focusing purely on these 3 combinations. These 3 characters are important to giving the combos the devastating kick that they require. The Dialogus is straightforward, allowing you to change any miracle dice to a 6, and will be joining the Retributors. Astrid and Agatha provide their unit devastating wounds and the ability to increase a miracle dice used by +1. They will be leading the Dominions. And finally, the Humble Missionary. He's a bit boring like his namesake, but grants sustained hits 1, which will synergize rather well with the Novitiates. Let's start with my favourite combination. Before I get started, Games Workshop recently changed the squad's bolt guns back to Rapid Fire 1 instead of Rapid Fire 2. Even so, we are bringing the 9th edition Blessed Bolt stratagem back. It's important to note that the Dominion squads now come in squads of 10 mandatory, which means 6 more bolt guns. You want to arm 4 of the squad with the Artificer Stormbolters as it's damage 2, and whilst in rapid fire range, will have 4 shots, totaling to 16 shots. This increases to 20 shots when near the Triumph. Astrid then grants the unit devastating wounds, meaning when you roll to wound, every wound of a 6 becomes 2 mortal wounds. And then you throw in 18 standard bolt gun shots, you will easily be looking at 6 to 8 mortal wounds. The roll can be spiked further by use of miracle dice, and Agatha increasing a dice by +1 will make this more likely to happen. It could also be worth you using the Triumph to ignore miracle dice restrictions, because in some situations you could use a trash miracle dice such as a 2, becoming a 3 with Agatha for the hit roll, which would then trigger the Cherub, giving you another chance at a better miracle dice that could then be pumped into the wound roll to of course trigger more devastating wounds. Finally, I would recommend a Rhino for this unit, as they are both able to advance and shoot, so getting into position and rapid fire range should easily be done. The reliable Retributors with multi-melters. There have been some complaints this edition that this unit has taken a hit. I mean it has, but with the correct support they will be able to take a knight apart in a single shooting phase. It's vital the Dialogus is attached and that you take a dedicated immolator with multi-melters as a transport. The Triumph of course will be ignoring miracle dice restrictions for this to work. As discussed, the Dialogus now allows any and all miracle dice used to count as a 6, whilst unlike other units, the Retributor's Cherubs generate up to 2 bonus miracle dice. So let's say we have disembarked in melter range of a knight. You want to use 2 trash miracle dice to ensure you get 2 hits before rolling. This will then trigger your bonus 2 cherub miracle dice. Now you roll to wound. Due to fire support from the immolator, having shot at the target first, your unit can now re-roll to wound in full. If your first wound roll was bad, you can consider using miracle dice to get an extra wound or 2 through before the re-roll. Provided you get 3 wounds through, you can then immediately ditch 3 miracle dice and deal an automatic 24 damage, overkilling a knight. You may say this is unlikely, but don't forget you have 4 twin-linked multi-melter shots from the immolator first, and a combi melter from the Retributor Sergeant, Although this is a very involved, clever use of miracle dice, we will see many targets dropped with ease. Personally, I think this unit has been slept on so far this edition. I may be wrong, and if I am, please let me know below who has been talking about them. The unit at base does not appear overwhelming, but do not forget it is only 80 points. You will want them all equipped with the Novitiate combat weapons for 2 Strength 4 attacks per model. The Sacred Banner is awesome, giving them a free reroll to charge and advance, making those risky charges more worth it and more likely. Once combined with the Petals of the Bloody Rose and the Missionary's sustained hits, every 6 rolled is not only auto-wounding, but also granting an extra hit. Combine this with the unit's ability to reroll 1s to hit, or a full reroll if the enemy is on an objective, you could fish for 6s and spike the roll in your favour massively. Strength 4 is decent, but it's even better when you make use of the Holy Rage stratagem to gain a +1 to wound. This won't necessarily wipe a tough unit, it will however do significant damage to them, especially if supported by the Triumph in close combat. Immediately, some of these combos I have laid out are expensive picks and perhaps not the easiest to execute, but all are worth considering. A limitation is that all the auras come directly from the Triumph model and not the unit, meaning that the attached Battle Sister squad can't be used to fan out and effectively increase the aura range, meaning, especially for combat combos, a charge could easily take the unit out of support range. Therefore, the Novitiate combos should only be considered if they are going to be joined in their charge by the Triumph, at which point I would instead consider taking Zephyrim, as they could deep strike to exactly where they need to be and still gain the bonuses. I did look at combos with the Castigators due to their rapid fire guns, but overall, even if you take 3, it's only 1 extra shot per model, which is not worth it in my opinion. What I will say with the Triumph is that if you build around it correctly and plan 2 to 3 turns ahead, it can be a devastating unit which acts as this bulwark which moves up the board, providing you buffs exactly where you need them, as you need them. A final thank you to everyone for watching and supporting us, especially our patrons. If you have found this video useful, or even if you haven't, please let us know below, as we do love the feedback. Once again, we are giving away a Warhound Titan. That's happening at 2,000 subs, so check that out and let your friends know. The combat patrols are of course automatic entry for patrons and will be ongoing forever, only increasing in size.